everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome to another installment of Easy with me, CZ. Today I'm going to create a really simple encouragement card with a lovely ink blended background featuring the Emboss Resist technique, and then we're just going to top this beautiful panel with an encouraging greeting. Let's take a look at the products I'm using today. I'm going to use this background Floral Frenzy is what it's called, and it's a gorgeous bloom. My greeting will be here for you, and I've got this wonderful rainbow of ink. I'll be doing my Emboss Resist with clear powder and some Hammermill cardstock today. So I'll use a few other things as we go, but let's get into it. To start out with stamping, I'm going to take my insert pad out of my MISTI and pop the cling right into the MISTI itself. This is how I like to stamp with cling backgrounds. I'll put a couple pieces of low-tack tape onto the paper, then pick it up with the door. There is no real right or wrong way. I just like to press my paper into the stamp. I'll take my anti-static powder tool and run that over the cardstock just to remove static and oil. And then I'm going to stamp today with Versamark embossing ink. I'll coat that up onto the cling stamp. I don't have to go edge to edge because I'm not doing a full 6x6. And then I'll take my pressure tool and just press the cardstock into the stamp. I just get great results when I do my cling stamps in this way. I'll go ahead and grab my tidy towel here, keep it in this little holder, just give a quick wipe off to get excess ink off of the stamp, and now we'll move on to the powder. This is the clear fine detail powder from Simon Says Stamp, and I'll sprinkle this all over, let it sit for a second, and then just let it fall off. And you'll see where the beautiful pattern has stamped, and there it is. I'll funnel my powder right back into the jar. I just use a folded piece of paper. This works great for me. Yes, I have spilled from time to time, but most of the time, I nail the landing. Once my heat tool is hot, I'll go ahead and work my way across the cardstock, taking my time to melt the powder, but not staying in one place too long. You don't want to overheat it. And now you can see the beautiful shine, and we are ready to ink blend. I'm using my Simon Says Stamp brushes today, and I'm just going to blend on a simple rainbow pattern. These inks work beautifully together, but they also blend gorgeously onto the Hammermill cardstock. I'll lay down the first color, which was Cheeky, and then I'm bringing in Melon. This has been a go-to rainbow since these inks have been released that I have been using a lot, and I love it. But as I was blending, I realized I could probably use a piece of that tonic grip mat underneath, and it made it so much easier because then my paper stopped sliding around. I love working on this tonic mat. It's a slick surface, it's really easy to clean up, and so having the little bits of grip mat, not only does it hold my ink pad perfectly in place, but it can hold your paper while you're blending as well. This is Celery, and the yellow was Lemonade, and the last color from my rainbow is going to be Seafoam. And again, just coming in, you don't have to be talented to do this. This is not a high skill type of background to create. You just bring on the color, wipe off any excess that may have pooled. I just use an e-cloth for this, and now my panel is done. And those are very easy to clean off as well. I just run it under the sink. All right, moving on. I'm going to trim this panel down just a little bit for my card. And I'm running this through using one of my Waffle Flower Layers dies. I use these a lot when I'm creating cards because it takes the guesswork out of creating panels for a US A2 card. While the die cut machine is out, I'll go ahead and cut out a shadow layer and one of the greetings. And this is also in the Hammermill. I figured I would just use one sheet of cardstock to complete this card project. So I'm cutting these out, and if ever your die cut doesn't pop out right away, just grab a craft pick or some other kind of pokey tool and you can get it right out. That's what the holes are for. And it's also nice for just popping out any pieces that didn't come out. All right. I'm going to cut one more layer of Here For You out of some of the matte gold Simon Says Stamp cardstock. And again, popping it out using the little holes on the back of the die, and there is my shiny gold top layer. I'm going to glue these together with a little liquid glue. A lot of times I like to use spray glue, but honestly, liquid glue is great for this too, and the benefit of liquid glue is that you get just a little more playtime when you are trying to line these up, because sometimes it can be tricky. I still struggle at times getting things perfectly lined up when I'm stacking die cuts for dimension, and the liquid glue really does give you just that little extra wiggle room and playtime to get it just right. I'll go ahead and put an acrylic block on that and press to let that adhere. Then I'll add more liquid glue to the back of the stacked set here so that I can pop that onto the shadow layer. And again, it's so nice to have that liquid because here you can see I'm kind of wiggling and making sure it's in the right place and shifting that up and popping that little top of the H is going to come over. Ah, I love it. Liquid glue for the win. Plus it dries clear, and that's Connect glue that I used. For the card base, this is 11 inches by 4¼ so the other half of the sheet of cardstock that I cut for this project. And I'm going to score it at 5½ inches for a top folding USA 2 size with a portrait orientation. Give that a little press and then I'll finish the press with my Teflon bone folder. I put foam tape on the back of the ink blended panel and I'm going to pop that up onto the card base for just a little bit of dimension with that nice framing margin. Isn't that pretty? I'm putting some more foam tape on the back of the greeting so I can also pop this up on the card base. I'll just pop in some foam tape where I think it is needed. That will look nice. So I'll take the backers off. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue, the Connect glue here, just so that I have, again, a bit of wiggle room before I press to really adhere. I'll bring in my T-square, my little Simon Says stamp T-square, just to make sure that is straight on the card base, and press. So pretty. Let's add just a little bit of shine to finish it off. I love confetti sequins. There are no holes. Boop, just pop it down. We're using 5 here because it's a nice odd number and it creates this beautiful cascade at the top and finishes out here at the bottom. Love this type of arrangement. Boop, and the final one, and boop, just like that. And that is the finished card project. I love how this turned out, and I hope this inspires you to give this simple emboss resist background technique a try. You can find links to all the supplies I used in today's video below in the YouTube description box. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you. And I'll see you back here with another Easy with CZ soon.